Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dr. Kristina Turkewitsch and I'm a chiropractor in Newmarket, Ontario, Canada. I have helped hundreds of people recover from neck pain, back pain, postural problems, and so much more. Now please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit also the notification bell so that you can be notified anytime I post a video. Let me know in the comments down below if you've subscribed and I will reply to you personally. Are you noticing in the morning when you get up that you have to crack your back in order to start to feel mobile? Or do you just crack your back habitually throughout the day because it feels good? Well, today I'm going to be discussing this topic. I'm going to be discussing, is cracking your own back at home good or bad? So I'm going to briefly go over what joints are, the different types of joints in the body, why do they crack, and the answer, is it harmful to you, is it good or is it bad? And also why it feels relieving, why people feel like they need to continue to do it over and over again. All right, so let's get into the video. We're gonna get started. So what are joints exactly? Well, every time two or more bones come together in the body, there's a joint in between them. So they are connected by a joint. There are approximately, 360 different joints throughout the body, and their sole purpose is to connect bones together. And depending on the type of joint, they enable smooth movement at the point of connection. It's kind of similar to when a hinge on a door connects the door to the door jamb. You have three different types of joints in the body. You have fibrous joints, you have cartilaginous joints, and you have synovial joints. And synovial joints are most likely the joint you're thinking of when you think of joint. And they're the ones that, for the most part, we as chiropractors deal with the most. Synovial joints make up, your shoulder, your knees, your toes, and also the facet joints in your spine. So the little joints that connect each vertebra together, those are also synovial joints. And what synovial joint means is that there's a fluid in the joint, and the fluid helps to cushion the joint, and it helps for smooth movement inside the joint. Why do your joints crack? Well, there are a number of reasons why your back would crack, but it's really because there are escaping gases being released from the joints, creating space in the joint, and so you get that cracking sound. And that's commonly what you hear when you get a chiropractic adjustment, because we are manipulating the joints of the spine so that we can get them back into a proper, more functional position. And with that, there's usually some sort of gas being released. And a very common example is when you crack your knuckle, right? And you pull your knuckle. I don't like cracking my knuckles. Thankfully, I never got into the habit of cracking my knuckles, but that's a common example of cracking your joints, right? It's very easy to crack your knuckles. So I'm going to answer the question, is cracking your back at home good or bad? And really the answer to that question is no, it is not good. Yes, it is bad or can be potentially bad. So to illustrate this, I have created a little drawing, okay? All right, so this is my little drawing and hopefully you can see it. This is my little illustration here to show you what it means to self-adjust yourself and what it means to have a proper chiropractic adjustment. So when you have a restricted joint, you have an area here that's not moving very well. So when you self-adjust at home, you're actually adjusting the areas around the restricted joint. You're actually adjusting the joints that are mobile, because you're not actually getting the proper directed force to the joint that needs to be released. So you're actually adjusting the wrong section. And when you get a chiropractic adjustment, you get a properly created adjustment with the proper force and direction to adjust the area that's restricted. And it doesn't bother the joints above or below that are already mobile, because we're getting that joint that's restricted. So what happens is that over time, when you're cracking your back and you're releasing the areas that are already mobile, they unfortunately will start to have some wear and tear happen to them. So you start to have more wear and tear on the joints that are more mobile, because you're constantly releasing them and making them more mobile. And unfortunately, once you have excessive mobility in a joint, your body starts to react to that, and it doesn't want to be excessively mobile in one area. So it tries to solidify itself. And so that's how you start to get actually arthritic changes in those joints. So in the spine, it's actually quite serious when you're cracking your own spine, because you're causing micro trauma, you're causing damage to the soft tissues and the structures around the joint as well as the joint itself. And so over time, this will start to break down. And actually cracking your knuckles isn't really as bad as when you're cracking your spine, because when you're cracking your spine is a very important structure. It's the house, it's the home of your spinal cord and central nervous system, and there's so many things that are going on there. There are so many structures that are supporting it, so it's going to have a bigger effect than when you're just cracking your knuckle itself. So I would definitely recommend that you stop cracking your own back. You stop having friends and family member crack your back for you, walking on your back or pulling you so that your back cracks. These are all bad practices. If you're having issues with your spine, please go see a spinal specialist. Please go see a chiropractor. We are highly trained in spine manipulation, right? And we will really be able to get you feeling better, get you functioning better with corrective chiropractic care. Now, I know it's gonna be tough to stop cracking your spine yourself, because people do get relief from it. And why do people get relief from it? That is because when you move the joints in the spine, you actually get a small endorphin hit. So it's a chemical reaction you get from moving the joint. So there's a small release of endorphin, and so that's why you actually start to feel better. You're like, oh, the tension's easing up, the pain is going away. But the problem is, it's always going to come back. You're always gonna have to go back for that endorphin hit, because you're not actually fixing the structure of the spine. You're actually moving the proper restricted joints that need to be moved. So you're always going to have this recurring issue where you're cracking your spine, creating more damage, creating more potential for arthritis down the line. So please, go and get checked by a chiropractor who can safely manipulate your spine and get you functioning and back to functioning order, basically. Now, if you're actively trying not to crack your spine and you move around and all of a sudden you hear cracks and pops, that's okay. That's okay. You're not actually putting force in there yourself to try and do it. It's just happening naturally, and that is normal. Normally, you would have some cracks and pops anyway as you move. So rest assured that is normal. Well, thank you for watching today's video. I hope you found it informative. I hope you found it valuable. So please don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon so I can be notified anytime you post a video. And as well, if you do subscribe, please leave me a comment down below and I will get back to you personally. As well, if you have any other comments or questions on the content I gave today, or if you have other ideas for topics that you'd like to hear me discuss, please leave that below and I will get back to you, and I will do my best to create videos with that content. Now, up next, we have a really great video. It's on neck pain after a chiropractic adjustment. So it's right here. Go ahead, click that icon, and it's gonna take you right to the video.